So we got Zoya. I mean, she sing, she can rap. And for real, I be messing with these cats, but for real, though, she eats their plate every day. When she gets in there and she sits down, it's crazy. She's laser focused. The thing about her is that she's like this weird sorceress, and she just creates these vibes and these rhythms and these just energies on the songs and the tracks. And I mean, on top of that, she's really an actor. She's got some Broadway show tune kind of history going on. So there's a lot of mystique about her that y'all gonna find out later on as you start chipping away to what she reveals for you. I mean, you already had Siv on there. Siv's my urban wizard. You know, he's got this like realism to him and how he wants to approach his community and his people, and it's very uplifting and soulful. A new wave hippie about his stuff, and you know, hydration and drink water. But you know, he started from the poetry angle, and obviously he's lyrical, but at the same time he's still an author. He's got some books that he's working on, so you might hear some publishing things from him soon. Great father type dude as well. And a lot of people wouldn't know he's a sneakerhead for real. But you know, other than that, he a bum. You know what I mean? You know, you got Jiggy. So Jiggy's like the quiet boy, right? You know what I mean? Like I call him my Sinatra sad boy Sinatra. Like you got to catch his vibe, and when you catch it, you understand it. It's really about. It's not about pain. It's about understanding, acknowledging the pain, and dealing with it, and growth in spite of. You know what I mean? But still being ratchet in a super classy way. That's just how Jiggy is. You know. And what's crazy is like he's like a James Dean. So at some point I'm gonna get him into some kind of modeling, some kind of fashion, because that's just the gaming. He's a big gamer and video editing. So, you know, he's all into that Fortnite stuff, you know what I mean? So if we go to Damo, that's like for real, that's my lyrical wild man, you know what I mean? Like they used to say Jimi Hendrix is the wild man from Borneo, right? That's Damo for me, like Damo FYE. Fight your ego, find your ego for your entertainment. Shit, fuck you, man. Don't matter. Like that's my dude. He goes in, he's crazy. Any rhyme scheme that you could think of, he'll do. He could figure it out. He'll break it down. You know what I mean? Throw him a challenge, it's nothing. He'll listen to a song for like 2 days and come out with a genre that was like, oh, you've been listening to that for a year or so. You know what I mean? But like a lot of people don't know, he's super. I mean, you could tell if you listen to his ad libs, he's super passionate, right? So he's a crazy debater. Like whatever that movie was with Denzel Washington, where they were teaching him how to debate, I'm pretty sure he was like a vocal double or a body double or something for that shit. But definitely a sports analyst type. I'm hoping to see him do some more podcasting. You actually will see him pop up on my podcast, Sprinkle Some Salt, that I got going. So you'll hear a lot from him on that. You got Savvy. Savvy's like, he's a wild card himself. I mean, they all wild cards, right? Savvy's like this weird, groovy philosopher type. So, you know, he likes to get deep into thought. He likes to hit you with words that you probably haven't heard before. He likes to give this awkward, but like kinetic, bouncy type of groove on the beat. Like you just know when you hear it, there's a certain signature that you're like, oh, okay, that's Savvy. I bet. And it just changes shit up. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know he's our in-house engineer for a lot of joints. You know what I mean? Him and I kind of work in tandem I kind of get things started, and then he comes in and gives it that nice, lustrous polish, as we like to say. My boy can cook. He's an educator, actually. You know what I mean? Degree educator, teacher, all of that stuff. So a lot of community-based work around here. You know what I mean? We got to do for self and do for others. And you got Raya, who. Crazy. She kind of brought this whole thing together. When we started in February of 2020, a lot of it was, we were already family and we was already working towards this, but a lot of the idea of bringing this together was really started from her. And so she's a wild card in herself, all over the board, vision board of sorts, if you want to say. I mean, from music to art, and I mean, painting, drawing, all of that. She does her hosting thing. She's definitely into the healing and wellness and the mental aspects of life and of just helping and assisting people. So you'll see a lot of things from her on that. Then we got Sunny. Well, He got a bunch of different names. Sonny Fasados is his Instagram name. I call him Bruce. Some of them call him Fasados. So he's our in-house. Basically, he's our creative director. That's what it comes down to. When we want shit to look fly, we want shit to sound dope. We just like, what you think. He dabbles in our video editing, our videography, any films or content that we're working on. A lot of shit coming. So you'll understand what we talk about when I say these things. That's what he does. But he also gets in and makes the beats. Some of my first joints that I made like 3-4 years ago were beats that I begged him to make for me. So we got him. And then you got DJ Sebas, who is really the funny man of the group. You wouldn't even think it, but he's like the wild cornball funny man of the group. And obviously he's a DJ, he's a beat maker. But he's got this thing for like doing narration and telling jokes. So, probably looking at something like that. I've really been trying to get him tapped in with like Adult Swim, because he does this great mixtape series of like sounds around concepts. And, I just think, Adult Swim, get with it, man. Get this kind of look, bring some of that KC sound to the cartoons, So anime can only get better, right?
That's facts.
So yeah, I mean that's the crew in a rap, man. And then myself, I just, I'm kind of the guy, man. Like I'm just here to press buttons. You know what I mean? I'm just here to help bounce shit off of me. I throw pasta at the wall, see if it sticks, and we just go from there and see what happens. In the meantime, I'm just trying to, finesse, and step my way through all my other endeavors, like my Thrax pastries, my Feature Soul, all my little side businesses that I'm trying to make sure happen. And stay supporting everybody around me, because we got to grow together. We got to make, if it can't be just the empire, it's got to be a community conglomerate so everybody can.
That's major. That last part's super major. First off, I want to acknowledge you for actually knowing the people you are working with. Like it's actually no, that's super important, because a lot of people work with people, or say they manage artists, or say they help out artists, or say that they're family with their people because somebody asked them to manage them or help out with the music or whatever. But you really tapped in with who they are, their musical styles, their characters, what they lean towards. And I feel like if you're really going to help artists out in the long run, you really got to know that type of stuff. Like knowing all that is almost mandatory, almost non-negotiable in regards to helping them grow as artists over time, or getting them opportunities, or really just anything. And then on top of just building your friendship with them, like, them, I'm sure when they listen to this, them just realizing, damn, Bump really tapped in with us. Like, that's going to only help build the relationship even further when they know that you really care. You know what I'm saying? You really pay attention to them. So that's major, man. That's major. And then that last part, listen, don't let that go over your head. It can't just be an empire. There has to be a community aspect to it. That's gonna be the tagline.
I love it. Real. I keep that as an equation up above my desk, so I'm always reminded, like, how do I get this? How do we make the community be involved in the process? So
I love it, man. So let's see, man. We have talked about so much. I'm like, where do I want to go next? Yeah, man, let's talk a little bit about mental health and some of your personal strategies to like navigate tough times, navigate stress, navigate happiness. Actually, let's start there. What is happiness to you? Like, how do you define happiness? How do you define success?
Okay, so I'm gonna start backwards. Success, I'm still is from Jeezy, but success is a process. It's not a result. It's a state of mind. You could call it a place of being if you understand that your being is in your head, right? I think, therefore I am, and if I am, then I'll be. So if I think successful, then I'll be successful. And if you approach your processes in a successful manner, then it just becomes a habit. It's not a matter of results. Success isn't, I got this row of cars, or I got this closet of clothes. It's the things that you do and how you do it. Happiness for me is peace. And peace for me is two things. At the end of the day, it's security. It's me being secure in my situation to be who I am at all times, because being a Black man in America, you have to wear many, many faces. You have to have multiple masks. You have to have many ways of speaking and communicating. So peace and happiness and security for me is when I am able to be myself, when I can sit down and take all the bullshit off and just be who I am. I can be Bump with my hat on, with my grill on, with my socks on, one sock on, whatever I want. If that's what I am, then that's what I am. That's peace to me. But at the same time, there's security. And when I say security, I mean, we live in a system that requires we pay tithes every month, every day in some kind of way. And so what I want for security is just to be able to know that every day, every month, every year, whatever it is that's required of me is covered. I ain't got to worry about it. So that way I can focus on all the other things that I'm supposed to be doing, because that shit is a distraction, and I don't want that. I don't want that for me or my family. So that's my happiness.
I love that. That's fire. I ain't gonna lie. If you listening to this podcast right now, just know that everything he just said right there is going to be 2 different clips that I'm using to promote this podcast. But nah, that was fire. I appreciate that, man. And I like that outlook. And I think that it's a way, what you just said there, I'm not telling, listeners to adopt what you hear immediately, but just to consider what he just said there, especially about success, man. I think people get so lost trying to search for success all the time in this constant state of paranoia, this constant state of chasing something that they're not gonna catch, because it's not items, it's not this material stuff, it's not this place. It's really just the process, the experience, the journey. And that's why when people still talk about success being money, cars, hoes, like whatever it is, like, when people talk about that, I know that they really are not Nipsey Hussle fans. But like, what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, y'all cap. Y'all was posting about Nipsey all month long with all these motivational quotes, but y'all didn't listen to him. Y'all didn't listen. And that's really the problem with a lot of society, is we love to take in and consume content and repost content and share videos, but we don't like to adapt and actually study what we've consumed. And what I know from hearing what you just said right there is not only that you've lived a life, but that you actually reflect on your experiences, because that's not something that just comes natural to our brains after birth, because we're shaped to think how society wants us to think from a young buck until we finally get to the place where we take responsibility over our own thoughts and our own feelings and our own opinions. So I really appreciate you saying that, and I hope the listeners really tap into that and maybe even replay that. So for Houston and for damn, I forgot what you said you was from. It's funny because I've been where you said that you're from in California. I've literally
from the Bay. I'm from the Bay. I lived in Concord. So I was born in Alameda, but that's just where I was born. As far as my time spent, I pretty much lived in Concord, and that's right there in the Bay. So you got Frisco, Oakland, and then way the hell inland is Concord, Walnut Creek. And then you start going further inland to where it's like farmland and country. So it's just all that whole Bay. San Jose is down south, Sacramento's up north.
Yeah,
so
I spent a lot of time in Alameda, Walnut Creek, and San Jose. Yeah. Yep. Hey, well, they be turned up, man. I'm trying to tell you, I love it. And there's such a tight connections between cities, throughout the world. Throughout the world, but really especially here in the United States, the tight ties between Kansas City and the Bay, the tight ties between Houston and other cities. And it's kind of crazy, like how like close the cultures are, the language and the swag and the accents. Like literally the accents be similar. Like when I was in the Bay, and like I was on the phone, like talking with the homies back in Kansas City, like, talking my shit. Like people was like, bro, I thought you said you was from Kansas City. Like, blah, blah, blah. I say, I am. They said, well, you sound just like a Bay Area baby. And I'm like, nah, man. And it's funny. It's funny though,
Well,
like
what's crazy is people don't know, but I mean, obviously KC is known for pimps, right? It's just known for that slick talk. But my time in the Bay, or I'm not gonna say people didn't know, but what I found out is during my time in the Bay, there's a lot of transplants from KC to the Bay, just off the strength of the hustle. You know what I mean? Just off the gristle, it's a lot of movement in that sense. So I wasn't surprised when I got here, and it just, I mean, it was just gravy on biscuits. It worked so smooth, so it was nothing.
it's real. It's real. It's funny though. I remember like in LA, like LA culture is so much different than Bay Area culture, and people think like all of California is the same, but it's not really the same. And when I was living, I mean, it has a lot of similarities, kind of like
But it's
Kansas
not.
City and St. Louis has a lot of similarities, but I think we're absolutely different though at the same time. So that's kind of like my best example is like Kansas City to St. Louis. We got our similarities, but like there's still a difference in culture. But it was funny because in LA, like Kansas City is connected to there too. Like you get respect off of being from Kansas City. Like off top, it's kind of weird. Like in certain situations, I'm not gonna say everybody, but like a lot of like LA locals, like if you like, oh, I'm from Kansas City, like you said, a lot of transplants. People be like, oh, I got peoples out in Kansas City, like, oh, like where, and then you cool with them immediately, or you be in a certain tight situation, and they'll be like, blah 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 blah, and you just mention something like, oh, all right, cool, like you like.
I mean, shit, bro. KC the cardiac, you know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. Single coming soon.
That's facts. That's facts. That's facts. Man, I've been enjoying this conversation. It's Purify. Hey, sponsor me. Sponsor me. Sponsor me. Purify Water. Honestly, don't sponsor me. Y'all don't look like y'all gonna give out a big bag, to be honest with you. Never mind, I'll take that back. But
don't worry about it. Hey, you tell me who you want to sponsor you. I'm gonna make it happen for you, bro.
No doubt. Say no more. Smart Water, here I come. Say no more. All right, man. I'm gonna have you answer one final question. Well, two final questions because we got one final question, then the bonus question. But all right. So my final question for you is it's gonna be a difficult one, and obviously you don't gotta answer it absolutely accurately. But if you were to tell me top 5 dead or alive hip hop artists, you can take out artist and replace it with like a group, like the Fugees or something like that, but still top 5 hip hop artists dead or alive, no order, just boom.
All right, top 5, cool. So I'm gonna get Wu-Tang so that I cover all of my artists in Wu-Tang. I'm gonna get Outkast. Ooh. I'm gonna go ahead and grab Scarface.
Okay, interesting.
I would grab Rakim because that's my dude, but I'm actually grab Nas and then WAP Gang. That way I cover all my shits.
Yes, sir. I like that. I want you to speak on why Scarface, man. Give me a song you like. Maybe tell me a little bit why you like his style. You ain't got to go in depth, but just a question.
The number one song was See the Man Cry. The way he put that song together, the opening where dude's coming out of jail and talking to folks, I cat that. Just the whole slickness of it, the way the beat comes in with the bass line, and then just the way he talks about it, the way he raps in the way that he's talking to me and like still carrying me through the cadence, but telling me a story. It's like, yo, I'm literally walking the steps of these lyrics. So that was a thing. And then he had the song Mary Jane, Mary, Mary, Mary. It was just like, yo, that was that. I mean, I've been a pothead all my life, so it just hit. And then, if I'm gonna be honest, there's a sentimental aspect to it because not only do I find him super lyrical, he was the face of the South for me when Rap-A-Lot was big, and James Prince or Jay Prince is one of my idols. But the time my son was born, or the time my let's say my eldest son was born, technically, Tupac passed away, and there was this song, the remix, "Smile," with Scarface and Tupac, and it just no song has ever hit me that the same way. Next to Blackberry Molasses by Mister, but that song, I can't ever let it go. So top 5 right off bat.
I love it. I love it. And our final question, man, and before I ask you, I just want to say thank you again. I'm filled with gratitude that you came on the show today. I'm glad we were able to make this happen eventually. We still waiting to it's been difficult, but eventually we're going to get the rest of WAP Gang on here. But over time, over 2021, we definitely going to make all of them on here at some point. So, but no, man, I appreciate you. I think you dropped a lot of words of wisdom for people to reflect on today. On top of that, I think it was really a great opportunity for people, especially people here in Kansas City, to hear your story, hear a little bit more about WAP Gang, and just really connect Bump Jonas on Instagram to like who he really is as a person. You know what I'm saying? So I really appreciate you coming on the show, man. But our final question of the day is, it's your last day on earth. You 102 years old. Everything you've ever done, no matter if you get WAP Gang 700 plaques, platinum plaques, gold plaques, whatever, and no matter if your sons grow up to be the most amazing individuals on earth, no matter what, like, you know, no matter what you do, there's no remnants of what you did. They can't find your Instagram post. They can't find any articles about you, any books about you. So all they have is what you're about to say to them. And your great grandkids are sitting at your feet and they ask you, hey, great grandpa, can you give me one piece of advice on how to live life? And this is the last thing you get to leave them with. What are you going to tell them?
Stand tall and hold your nuts.
Speak on it.
That's all it is. Just stand tall and hold your nuts.
Hey, see, this why I like you. You did exactly like not that I would have been mad if you would have spoke on it, but you did exactly what I wanted you to do, because I said speak on it. And oftentimes when I ask that question, and I have no problem with what my past guests have said. Shout out to y'all. Y'all have said a lot of dope stuff for real, and it's love. But when I say like, you know, like speak on it, like when I ask that question, I want whatever they say to be like the final thing, you know, like it's the powerful thing that you about to tell them. Like they got to go with whatever you said. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so when I said speak on it, I know that's like I wasn't trying to trick you or anything, but I'm glad that I'm glad you said, nah, that's really what it is, because that's what it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? I hope that made sense. But anyway.
No, it did. It made absolute sense.
Man, but again, bro, thank you for having me on, having us on, goddamn. Anyways, thank you for coming on the show. We don't edit things out. We about to let that stay right there. You know? But where can the guests find you on socials? And then maybe is there anything that you want them to help out with? How can they support you?
You know, the number one thing they can do is just show love. Just pop onto the page and pop onto any of the links. Have an open mind and engage with me. If you have a conversation, then let's have one. You know what I mean? Because I talk a lot of shit on my page, but for the most part, I'm there to get you in, give you some love, and redirect you to all these other honey pots that I got set up for you. You know what I mean? It's Bump's Big Ass Bazaar at bump.jonas, at official WAP Gang. You can bump from there and just like get all the other people. I probably could go down a list of all my folks, but what I want to do is definitely shout out and just take a look at thrax.pastry, take a look at eatme.tees, take a look at extravagant planning, different little companies and ventures that I'm involved in that are definitely community based. Take a look at 90.1 KKF5. Take a look at Emerald Dream Lab Studios. At the end of the day, man, I just want, the only thing you could do, you don't even got to support me. Just for real, if you love KC, stop the click shit and start loving each other. Like really, really, don't click up with just your homeboys. Click up with the dude across the street you don't know, because that shit's gonna turn into something more than what you thought. Not just on some music shit, but on some community shit, because there's a lot of things going around that you need to be involved in and know about. Just step out and say what's up to people. That's all you really got to do.
I love that. And I second that. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tapping into another episode of the Culture Talks podcast with CIZZY and our guy, Bump Jonas. Go follow him, leave a 5-star review, and share this with a friend, because that's the only way we can grow. All right. Salud.
Inshallah.